Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Elite. Thank you all for joining us on this fine Thursday evening. I am your host, the bearded wolf of wrestling, Adams. So, thank you guys for joining me. Tonight, we've got a great topic. It was a last minute topic because I couldn't really think of one. So, tonight, we are going to be talking about some of the best and some of the worst pro wrestling shoots and/or promos. There have been many out there, and tonight we're going to discuss a few of them. Joining me tonight on my list tonight of guests, joining us all the way from her new place. She is the Midwest queen of the cards and Wardlow's biggest fan, Danny. Danny, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I note to self, if it's an important call from a family member, take it. But there is a point you can always hang up on them if they're annoying the hell out of you, and that's what my brother did last week.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no. But I mean, family's family, so if it's important, it's important. We understand that. But yeah, we're glad you could join us tonight. We did kind of miss you a little bit these last few weeks. I know I haven't seen you since our Owen Hart tribute show a few weeks back. So great to see you again. And also joining us tonight, our favorite producer. Again, without him, none of this would be possible. And he does a lot of great work behind the scenes. He actually made the little picture for tonight. I can't even think of the word it's called anymore because it's been a long day from work. But Mr. Connor, how you doing, bud?
No, I'm doing pretty good. It's great to be back on. I've been on Talking Elite in a little while, so it should be a good topic.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to talk about it. Like I said, I think this was a very interesting topic to choose, especially since last night's Dynamite, as we always do on Thursdays. We like to review the Dynamite from yesterday, and there was a lot of promos in yesterday's Dynamite, on top of a lot of decent matches. Probably not really great matches. There were maybe two on the card that I actually enjoyed watching today. But just to get your guys' thoughts, if you guys saw yesterday's Dynamite, what did you guys think of it yesterday? What would you rate it? I guess we'll start with you, Connor.
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it. We didn't do a live reaction yesterday. I was tired from working all day, so but I did catch up and watch it. From what I did see, I liked the opening. They opened with finally their world champion. The world champion finally opens the show, and he closed the show kind of. I thought the opening was good. I liked the obviously the main event, Rey Fenix and Will Ospreay. That was already going to be a good match. Jericho stuff I could have done without. We did get a tease for Blood and Guts. I don't know about the team ups. I mean, I get the Elite, but Swerve's obviously going to be in it, which they hinted at. But it looks like he's going to be teaming up with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. I feel like they could have found 3 other people who have been better than that. I like the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, but I don't get why they should be in that. If Adam Copeland wasn't injured, Edge, I would have done Swerve, MJF, Edge, and someone else for Team AEW, because this is technically Team AEW versus the Elite again. But yeah, I thought there were some squash matches Daniel Garcia against whoever that, I think it was Nick Camarado.
Yeah.
I think it may have been. And they had that Joe, Hook, and did they team up last night? I don't think they did. It was no, it was Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and someone else against Roderick Strong. Another was a 6-man tag, and Nakeshita finally picked up a win. And Kyle Fletcher needed to win. He's 0-11 for the Heat. He was 0-11. He's 1-11 now. I thought that was a good match. The women's stuff I could have cared less for. I know it's Forbidden Door season, but they do this all the time, and I don't know who half these people are. I don't see how anyone has time of day to watch everything and know who everyone is. But it's good to see Mercedes wrestling more. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. They still got some work to do, but if I had to rate it, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, not a bad scale for last night. Danny, what about you? Did you catch last night's Dynamite?
Yes, I did, and I think my DVR cut off because it cut off when it was picture in picture with Osprey and that last match. So did I miss anything? I might have missed the last like 5 to 10 minutes. So I have to get back in there and play around with it. But what happened that I missed? Because it was in picture and then it cut off in the DVR.
But which one was it that you just said that
It
you
was
missed?
it was last night, and it was Osprey. That final, it was the Osprey match towards the end.
Oh, Osprey and Phoenix.
Yeah, that was the one.
My God, it's been a long day. I can't even remember
I
it.
know Will Ospreay won the match, of course, but the ending was a little, I won't say weird, but I didn't catch all of it too. But what happened was Swerve came out, and somehow, some way, Will Ospreay got Swerve's title, and he was holding up 2 belts. And then Swerve whispered something into his ear, like something with the word kill shot. I know that. Kind of hinted at kill shot. Who knows what that means? But something like that. Just whispered something to his ear, and he held up 2 belts. Nothing really.
Yeah, because we were sitting there watching it, and then all of a sudden it like clicked to another episode. I'm like, it's over, and I went back and rewound it, and it literally like cut itself off, so I have to fix it. But it was a great opening. I'm practicing my Swerve dance for All Out, and I almost have it down. So cute opening again. How do I put them? The guys who are trying to sell an infomercial, who are pretending to be pro wrestlers, and the Glass Boy, who was a descendant of Fred Flintstone, reincarnated as a pro wrestler, Jack Perry. I was kind of shocked, but not shocked that he beat Dustin Rhodes. I think we all saw this coming, but I was just kind of, oh, great. Other than that, I mean, I liked it. I'm also not sure how the Acclaim fits in with Swerve for that matchup, Blood and Guts. I do agree that I would have had Max in there. I would have also had Edge if Edge wasn't injured. So that's going to be kind of interesting just to see where they go with this Acclaimed versus Elite feud. Joe and Hook is also become very interesting to me because I seem to remember months ago they were feuding. I'm starting to slowly get into this whole Jericho learning tree thing because I'm a teacher and I love teaching, like the newer generation how to teach. So teaching the teachers basically. And I was really impressed with Private Party last night. Like, I think they deserve more of a push. And I've always liked them. I'm really starting to dig them. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. And I'm curious to see where we're going to end up with Swerve and Osprey. What I saw of it, I'm going to give it a 7.5, but minus that ending, which has like kind of the question mark, and I have to go back in and fix something. But other than that, it was cute. I'm missing Max. I'm missing Starks. I'm missing my favorite. And did anybody catch the push Wardlow sign in the audience?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I see where you posted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention the MJF and Rouge stuff.
Yeah.
They had a brawl, kind of. They went everywhere in the crowd, in the back. I wonder what they're going to do with MJF at Endure because they're doing this on Dynamite next week. So they're going to wrap that up real fast. Because after one match, I don't want to see it again. Because I have a feeling MJF's going to win. That's pretty obvious that he's not losing his first match back. So after that, I don't want to see it again because Rouge is not going to beat MJF.
No.
Like, that's just not going to happen. So maybe MJF goes into the Owen Hart tournament, which they talked about that some last night. Pac's going to be in it. Some random person from Japan is going to be in it. In the Private Party, I wish they would get more TV time. I wish they should have been. Like, they came back. They had 2 matches against Top Flight. They won one, lost one. I thought they was going to do a tiebreaker there. And then they never really picked up with it. Like, they just kind of did nothing with it. Like, they won one, lost one. It was tied. And they could have had a tiebreaker for a pay-per-view or something, but they didn't go anywhere with it. But Private Party should definitely be getting used a lot more. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, last night's episode was okay. Like I said, I like on Wednesdays I bowl league, so I mean it's only 16 weeks, thank God. But yeah, no, I thought it was good after rewatching it today. I was able to watch bits and pieces of it. I almost said pizza. Bits and pieces of it today, like during work when I had time to take a break and watch some highlights. Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed some of the segments. We are getting blood and guts again at the Dynamite and actually Nashville in July. Actually, Connor and I were just talking about this. We were trying to figure that because we were talking. We're like, he was mentioning, are you going to try to go? I was like, it's blood and guts, and I've never seen it live, so I would love to go. And I'm off work on Wednesdays, so it's like I would definitely go. So yeah, no, it would be something cool to see. Again, there's that mystery of who would be the 5th member for the Elite and who would be the 5 for Team AEW. Yeah. And I did, for some reason, I did enjoy Mercedes Moné's match last night. I think she meshes well with luchadoras. I don't know why her style meshes well with luchadoras and women in New Japan. Like, her style matches with those two styles of women's wrestling. And so I think it was a really good match. There were some good moments in it. And I will say that Ospreay Rey Fenix match was really good. I think those were the top 2 matches on the card last night on Dynamite. And again, to go with where MJF goes now that he's back, I don't know. I'm hoping, like Connor said, I hope they wrap it up, and don't do anything further after their match next week on Dynamite. Again, this is an MJF win. I think it's a good win to get him on his way back into the ring from injuries. But where do you go for Forbidden Door? Again, I'm hoping. I don't know how they're going to integrate Adam Cole back into that, or if they're just going to brush over that feud and be done with it. We never know. But like I said, Dynamite wasn't too bad last night. It was better than some of the last couple of weeks. I would probably give it a 7.9, almost an 8. So, but it was a good show. And hopefully they can carry this on and build to a really good Forbidden Door card, really. So with that in mind, tonight we move on to our topic. When we talk about pro wrestling, again, we talk about promos. And there has been a lot of famous and infamous promos and shoots throughout pro wrestling history. And I want to ask you guys, and we'll get to a lot of them tonight because we're going to be discussing a lot of promos and shoots in professional wrestling. But I want to get your guys' personal take on what is the earliest shoot, like unscripted promo that you remember seeing growing up watching professional wrestling. Danny, I'll start with you.
Earliest unscripted. Oh boy. If I had to do a blend, which I'll do a blend, I'm thinking Ric Flair with the Gators. Partially, and I'm using a blend for that because with Ric Flair and we know he's a major partier. He's still a partier. I'm guessing probably at like, what is he now, 75? And I'm just thinking the Gators when he referred to himself as the Rolex wearing, limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun who spilled more money and spilled liquor, and he addressed Buddy Landell in that promo. I'm thinking that was more of a blend because it was Flair's real life off-screen personality plus a blend of him as that character, which he made you think it was actual believable. The other one, oh gosh, the earliest one that I remember, I would have to say the only one that would come to mind, honestly, would be Punk's promo, and that was the pipe bomb in summer 2011.
Oh, it's not a bad promo. I mean, again, that one is probably one of the most famous promos in WWE history. If not, it's in there. It's one of the top. Connor, how about you? What is the earliest shoot promo you remember seeing growing up watching pro wrestling?
Growing up, the first one I probably would have seen was CM Punk's, but because I started watching, I got out of wrestling in 2011, but I caught CM Punk's pipe bomb right before I got out. But that was probably one I remember, like growing up, like actually witnessing. I mean, it's not really a shoot promo, but Austin Aries no selling Johnny Impact and TNA get straight up, looked off the commentary table, and walked straight off. It wasn't really a promo, but I witnessed that. One that really comes to mind, I didn't witness it live, but I have watched the whole show, was Hulk Hogan and Vince Russo and the Bash at the Beach 2000 stuff. But the one that I probably witnessed live that I remember is probably the pipe bomb with CM Punk.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think that is the one that a lot of people remember earliest in their lives, especially, at the peak of Punk and everything like that. And even someone like Danny said that the Ric Flair shoot promos, those were famous. Ric Flair's energetic, presence on the mic when he's doing his promos and shoots. I think the earliest one I can remember, and this goes back to my love for the early ECWs, and that's Shane Douglas's promo in the ring after winning the NWA championship, and it was something different. Like, it was something crazy because of only 3 people who knew he was going to do that promo and knew he was going to throw down the belt. I think that's the earliest I remember, because I remember hearing about NWA being like this prestigious company, and just seeing this young wrestler named the franchise Shane Douglas, throw down their title and take the ECW, which at the time was Eastern Championship Wrestling, but declared the Extreme Championship Wrestling. And, it just created a lot of controversy between Eastern Championship Wrestling and, NWA. And, as a kid watching those, it almost seemed like the end of an era of, territories, because again, the Eastern Championship Wrestling and NWA, they had that territory feel, but once that happened, it kind of broke off and put the nail in the coffin of that. And, I think thinking back, that's probably the earliest that I can remember. Let's go into people who do these promos and shoots. We mentioned CM Punk and, Ric Flair. If you could give me 2 wrestlers, male, female, both, I don't care, who would stand out as doing some of the best promos that you remember growing up, or just now? I mean, who do you think has some of the best promos that you could remember? Danny?
I've got 2. Nick Bockwinkel, because Bockwinkel was like the guy that was, doing the promo. He had emotion with it, but it wasn't that intense emotion. It was just like a regular conversation. Like, he's talking to somebody, you could detect the arrogance in the character. You could detect the superiority. You could detect the confidence. You could detect the charisma. Obviously, you could see that charisma. The second person, and I don't know, how people are going to feel when I say this, but Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette with that tennis racket just killed me as a kid. Like, because when you cut those promos, you want to talk like from your diaphragm. Well, Jim Cornette, when he cut a promo, he screamed. I can only imagine his vocal cords now, how they would be. We're talking like, what was that, 35, 40 years ago when he was talking back then? How much, damage did he do right here with his throat, because he was so throaty and he was always screaming. But it was fun. And Cornette had that, even though you love to hate him, and my grandmother, God bless her soul, couldn't stand him, he had that energy as a manager for that you made him think he was some spoiled rich kid that was living in his mom's basement or something. He just had that type of energy and that intensity for those promos.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with that. And yeah, you named some earlier guys, and that's what I like. I love the fact that the earlier wrestlers, like, you know, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Macho, like all those guys. I mean, even someone like oh my God, his name escapes me. One who had the car accident, who was supposed to be really big.
Magnum PA.
Magnum PA. I mean, the
PA,
fact
yeah.
that guy's promos was fantastic.
Oh, Grandma loved him.
Gino, what's his name?
Okerlund.
No, Gino, gorgeous Gino Hernandez. I
Yes.
mean, if everybody remembers him and, you know, his tragic end,
Vaguely,
he
yeah.
had some of the best heel promos I could ever remember, you know, growing up. Connor, how about you? Male, female? I mean, who does some of the best promos, you know, throughout the career where you go, this promo every time they cut a promo, I'm intrigued.
Someone for me, I talk about him a lot. It's not CM Punk, but it's JBL. Talk about him a lot. I always compare, like, this guy needs to have JBL title run. This guy needs to, like, JBL was really, like, not the APA JBL, but John Bradshaw Layfield when he went solo. If you watch a lot of his, when they had the ECW One Night Stand, and he would cut these promos on all these fans. Fans were eating it up. Like, they were literally, well, you know, like ECW fans, they're going to eat it up anyways. But he's just really, really, really good at making you hate him. And he had a lot of good promos, especially, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but it was the Eddie Guerrero feud, and he went. I don't know if he actually went over the border or not. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but there was people coming from the border, and I believe it was the feud of maybe John Cena or maybe Eddie Guerrero. I think it was Eddie Guerrero. And people coming from the border, and he was gonna beat up people coming from the border and stuff. Like, JBL was always good as a heel, cutting some of the, like, that was his best work when he went solo and broke from the APA. Someone else that comes to mind, probably Raven, ECW. He had a lot of good promo work in ECW. Talking about a lot of CM Punk, had a lot of good ROH stuff. His feud with Raven really put him to another level. Like, a lot of that type of stuff is what I saw. Like, Raven and CM Punk had a lot in common with those promos in Ring of Honor, if anyone's seen them. But JBL, to me, really sticks out. As growing up I grew up watching wrestling in the Ruthless Aggression era, so JBL would be someone that I would have watched live a lot. Trying to think of someone else. For me, JBL, CM Punk, Raven, Jim Ross. I mean, he's not a wrestler, but golly, he made you think he was a wrestler the way he commentated lots of times. But yeah, those for me were some of the ones that I liked.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could go down wrestler with Jim Ross. Jim Ross, I mean, really knew how to pull you in and make you, like, feel connected to the program that you were watching, you know, and he was really good at it. Because it's funny, I guess I should have clarified that, not just wrestlers, but just on-screen personnel who gave some great promos and some great shoots. And, you know, obviously my number one guy, you can see him behind me, is Paul Heyman. I like CM Punk and Claudio and Brock. I am a Paul Heyman guy. I love the stuff that he does, even some of his shoots and promos in the early ECW days. This one right here is actually from his shoot on against TNN. This is when they were on TNN, but they had, like, strict limits. And he just went off saying, you know, hey, TNN, I hope you throw us off the air. Please, I'm begging you to throw us off the air, because we'd rather go to another network. Like, because they don't even promote us. I don't even think they care about us right now on TNN. And he just goes off. And he even says, he goes, you wanted to shoot, this is a shoot. Like, so I think someone like that, and just the way he presents, like how he just presents himself in the ring while he's advocating for other wrestlers, like with his Brock Lesnar, and then his time with Roman Reigns was just superb. Probably the best 2.5, 3 years of manager work I've ever seen by one person in a long time. And obviously his stuff right now with the new,
Bloodline.
Bloodline. Thank you. The new Bloodline. You feel for the guy, but yeah, no, his promos are great. Hell, I mean, even his promo at One Night Stand in 2005 with all the SmackDown and Raw wrestlers, and he's taking shots at every single one. And I think my two favorite from that night were, everybody hide your wives, it's Edge. And then he says 2 words, Matt freaking Hardy. And then his shot at JBL, who, Connor had mentioned has some really good promos, but his shot at JBL says the only reason you were champion for a year was because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. And so I think Paul just knows how to get under people's skin and does some shoot promos. But speaking of just ECW, we talk about a lot of WWE and, AEW stuff, but can you guys just recall some of the times you saw promos or shoots that happened in the ring live from other companies that you just went, wow, that's real. Like I feel like this is not part of the script. And I just want to know more and know what's happening. So outside of the two big AEW, WWE, it could be even from the past. It could be TNA and anything like that. Could you guys recall anything seeing like that from another promotion, maybe a smaller promotion, and going, okay, I've never seen this before?
Bash at the Beach 2000, Hogan Russo. And that was just, wow. I had forgotten about that. I was watching Dark Side of the Ring with my nephew G, and I was just like, here's like things you want to know, because he's, slowly starting to get into older like WWE and whatever. And I'm like, here, watch this one. So I was watching it. I completely forgot about that. And just the promo, because Hogan was out there. He was obviously, in character, but then Russo comes out and just like, oh my God. And I'm not going to give away the most recent episode of Who Killed WCW. If anybody's watching it, let me know what you think of it in the chat. I think it's really good. We're on episode 2. But I'm not going to give away the ending for those of you that haven't seen it. But yet that was something that just came out of nowhere. And you could just see Mark Madden was on commentary, Tony Schiavone, and I don't remember who the other person was. And they were all saying, well, this wasn't in the script. This wasn't at the production meeting. That blew a lot of people away. And it really, it was like the backstage drama, obviously going from, behind the backstage area, through the curtain, down the aisle into the ring. And that's what made it so different, because Hogan had one thing that he wanted, Russo had another. And again, it was just really intense, and you could just feel like that animosity and that legit hatred through that promo.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing with Russo. I mean, with as much shock TV he put into the scripts for all the promotions he worked for, I think some of his realism when he gets into a ring and does a shoot promo like that, it shocks people. And hate or love or hate the guy, he's real to himself, bro. Like, even though he says bro a lot, but
Bro,
he's real to himself. Like, he's like, I don't take crap. Like, I'm gonna shoot straight. You don't have to believe me or anything or like me or love me. I don't care. But I'm speaking straight. He's kind of reminds me of like an Eddie Kingston who just doesn't care.
He really does.
But Connor, how about you? Outside of like the big promotions, could you recall a promo from someone that you went, oh wow, like I'm into this?
I don't think it's something from TNA. Because TNA blurs for me. Well, no, it wasn't really a thing that you guys would probably know, but refereeing stuff. There was one promo that It was real because I refereed the match. It was two wrestlers actually started fighting in the ring, and I was refereeing it. The guy has a promo, says a bunch of stuff. His opponent comes out. They start going at it right in the ring. I signed up to officiate wrestling, not to officiate UFC fight. But like, what do you do in that situation? Like, just let him go, I guess. I don't know. But that's what I can. I mean, I would say like WWE and AEW stuff, but just outside. I mean, for me, that was the guy goes personal and talks about this and that, and then brings it to the fans, and here he comes. No entrance. He comes, and they just start going at it. Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, I think when that happens in the ring, like shoot wrestling, where it's like they're supposed to have it, but then it gets stiff, and then they just beat the hell out of each other. You know, I know I've seen that quite a bit of times. Yeah, it's just so weird to see that. I think I'm gonna have to go with a moment that, you know, like I said, I love independent wrestling, and it was actually back when you know, before he left for AEW, Eddie Kingston at Progress Wrestling basically cut a promo saying like he signed a bigger, you know, company and all that. He's been independent 10 years. And he's like, I'm done being an actor. You know, I'm tired of making stars and all that stuff. And he basically just went off. And he's like, you know, I'm going on to bigger, better things, and I'm just going to be me. You know, I'm sick of the acting crap and pro wrestling and trying to be like the heel, the face. I don't care. I'm just going to be the real me. Like, this was his promo. And you're like, and I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you can find this promo on YouTube of Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, at Progress Wrestling in 2020. But yeah, I loved it. I freaking loved it. And it just shows what kind of like real person Eddie can be. Speaking of real, let's go into real ugly. And let's talk about some promos that happened on TV. It could be any promotion where you just watched it and you go, what the hell was that? That was the worst promo I've ever seen in my life. So is there one of those that kind of, or two, you know, I'll give you guys a twofer for this one. You know, is there one or two promos that you've seen in professional wrestling where you're like, oh, that was just horrendous, and I wish that would never have happened? Danny?
Let me think. My mind is running with reels. I did write that down, wrote it down for Eddie's promo. Cringeworthy promos. Oh, brother, let's take the microphone away from somebody. All due respect, I would have to say the Mark Henry Mae Young thing. That was one of them. That was just kind of cringy. Another one that was cringy. Let me think. Towards the end, NWO started getting a little cringy for me, like, because it was almost like repetitive to a degree. But if I were to pick two, I would probably say those two. Just the Mark Henry one, and then anything NWO, because in the beginning it was great, but then towards the end it just got so repetitive. Like, it was the same thing. They had all these different factions and all these different members, and it just got boring after a while.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's it was really, really ugly. How about you, Connor? What would you say is some of the worst promos you've ever seen?
First one is Marina Shafir. Golly.
I was waiting for it. I
don't see how she got signed. Like, how in the hell? I mean, at least it was on Dark. I mean, the commentators don't know what's going on. Vicky Guerrero doesn't know what's going on. So the promo starts out. She's from Moldova. Her mother and father was resonated from this place. They don't know you. You know her, and then you don't know her, and then you know nothing about her. Then we start hitting the canvases, and then we just start going off, and even Matt Lee on commentary says, "What is going on?" Like, that's the worst promo I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't see how they allowed that to even go on. I mean, like, there's people in the crowd like don't even know what the hell is going on. But besides Marina Shafir's really, really bad promo, there was one. Me and Mr. Jacobs used to watch this stuff together. I forget who it was. We was Paul Orndorff. We saw this promo of WCW. This is early in his career. He advanced, but there was one. It may not have been WCW, but it was like 1989. He didn't know what he was doing. He was talking, and I don't know. It was just a very bad promo. But the one that comes to mind is Marina Shafir. She has two bad promos actually. They let her cut a promo on TV one time, backstage. Luckily, it was when Jade and Nyla Rose was feuding, and she cut that promo. I don't get how she signed to AEW. I really don't. Like, she should be signed to the World Wrestling Federation. Golly, I mean, all elite.
Maybe go back to MMA.
Yeah, I mean, could you even talk there? And golly, you're kind of fight a real fight. Could you talk that? I hope so.
So now, is she a worse wrestler or a worse talker, in your opinion, Connor, or both?
Both.
There you go.
I would actually say that Brooklyn Brawler is better than her.
You said talker, right? It sounded like you said something else.
Talker.
Yeah.
Talker.
Talker and wrestler, she's. But I'm sure there's some other ones I could think of. Yeah, but she's the one that comes to mind. Really, like that was the first person I already knew. Like, yep, that's Marina Shafir. Yeah, Marina Shafir. She just. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, golly, she couldn't get it from Dusty Rhodes. Yeah. Couldn't get it from Triple H. Couldn't get it from William Regal. I don't know, but
I can't, because I feel the same way about Cucamonga and the Last Boy. And again, you've got two guys that are like that are treating this, trying to sell you an infomercial or trying to sell you, like, make a hard sell, and they can't talk and they can't wrestle. So again, same for you for Marina Shafir, same for me for the Bucks and Jack Perry.
Oh, Curtis Axel. I forgot about him. Nothing was not the NXT, but the first NXT. It wasn't the
you're talking about his promo when he was Michael McGillicuddy.
Yeah, it wasn't the NXT we have now. It was more of a obstacle game course or something like that. He is Mr. Perfect son, if anyone doesn't know that. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're trying to get him on his level. I recommend people go watch it.
The Genesis of McGillicuddy is what he called it at the end of that promo, and it was just like, what the hell is he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he that was the NXT that wasn't really what we have now. It was more of just Bryan Danielson was on there.
Michael Tarver.
Yeah, like there was a lot of. It wasn't the NXT we have now. Ryback was on there. But yeah, those two come to mind for sure.
David Otunga.
He was there too. That's who Michael McGillicuddy lost to, was Cavill, aka Low Key.
Oh yeah, Low Key.
Yeah, no, that was pretty bad. I mean, we could go with it. Is just it's now become lore of other wrestlers to do it. I mean, MJF just did it. I think someone did in AEW. Was Scott Steiner's math from TNA when he did that math segment. It was him. Petey Williams was like Little Pete, like Musco guy, and he like was doing the math thing to it, and like he rambled on. And it looked like everyone in that promo was just confused on what he was doing. They're like, I have no idea what they're saying. And it was just bad. But then also, I think the worst promo, and this was during his time where he was like past his Shield days, but the Roman Reigns suffering succotash promo against Seth Rollins.
Oh,
That was probably the worst moment in Roman Reigns' career. Was that promo. And he even looked at the camera and winked. I was like, what are you doing, dude? This isn't the fourth wall Deadpool. It's just like the ugliest thing I could remember from that. And I don't think Roman could ever recover from that. But then we had a 2.5, 3 year long story of Bloodline. But that suffering succotash promo for me was probably the worst thing I've ever seen on WWE TV. And that's outside of the Shockmaster debut.
Yeah. I was just thinking, and now it's the Shockmaster. I'm changing the world. Fred Ottman, gotta love the guy, falls through that piece of plywood. And everyone, British Bulldog, Sting, Booker, Harlem Heat, Flair, Sid, they were all sitting there laughing. And the mask falls off, and all you hear is Ole in the background. This is the Shockmaster. That had to be the best. I could watch that one over and over again. And I was thinking that right before you said that too.
Yeah, no, that was horrible too. So we've been talking about a lot of male wrestlers. Is there a female wrestler promo that you remember that you thought that was the coolest promo a woman wrestler has ever done? And I can't wait to hear them say more. Danny, I'll start with you since you're our local diva. Could you think of one that you recall that you're like, okay, that promo was cool by that girl?
Given the fact that we were kind of the equivalent of being, I don't want to say being seen and not heard, but you didn't see much of us back in the day. You might have had a women's match thrown in there. You had Wendy Richter, you had Rockin' Robin, who, if anybody didn't know, is Jake the Snake Roberts' sister or half sister. I think one of the
half sister.
Yeah, half sister. So you had that. You had God Bless Her Soul, Sensational Sherry. And out of the three of them, Sherry was really intense with her character. She played such a phenomenal heel, but she had that screechy, really high-pitched voice that made you kind of cover your ears with the garish makeup, but it fit. You had Luna Vachon. Oh my God. Luna Vachon reminds me of a Kardashian with makeup on. So that Luna Vachon was just creepy, but it fit. It just it fit her. The shaved head with the drawn-on tattoo, the makeup, the costume, it fit. Out of all of them, I would say probably anything from Luna Vachon was creepy, but it was interesting because of her character. The one that I do remember was Medusa Baselli when she dropped the WWE belt into the garbage on that episode of Nitro. Because it kind of made you wonder, okay, is this real? Is this kayfabe? What's going on here? And it made you want to watch Medusa. And I think it just added to her credibility because remember, back in the 70s, back in the 80s, even the 90s, 2000s, women's wrestling really didn't become that popular until the Divas, until Trish, Lita, Tori made it popular. And even then, it was more of a special attraction type wrestling versus what it is today with Sasha, Bailey, Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. So women's wrestling has changed a lot considerably in 35, 40 years.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, again, people like Medusa and Bull Nakano, and, we can even say someone like a Mae Young, and her other name is really, Fabulous Moolah. They kind of paved the way for the Trish Stratuses, the Litas, the Tories, the Victorias. And then those women kind of paved the way to what we had now in the Divas era, to what we now currently have with women's wrestling. And, something like the Medusa's promo with the belt was huge. And, I thought that was, groundbreaking for someone like that to do that. Connor, how about you? What female wrestlers promo can you remember that just made you stand in awe and be like, wow, this woman can really shoot a promo?
For me, this one might not stick out to many, but Tessa Blanchard, when she was in TNA, she had a lot of good promos. A lot of her promos with Gail Kim was really good. When they would be, I think it was Bound for Glory, it was anniversary, had been 2018, 2019, maybe 2017. She had a lot of good promos. And her feud with Sami Callihan when she won the TNA World Title. I didn't even agree with the booking decision she winning it, but she had a lot of good promos with that. She really stuck out that she can really not only wrestle with the guys, but also can talk with the guys. There's a lot of them that can wrestle good, but in mind they probably won't stand a chance. Tessa Blanchard really sticks out to me. Someone that hasn't yet got to really show what they can do, but watching their indie stuff, Cora Jade, I don't know if anyone knows who that is, in NXT. I feel like give 2-3 years, you'll see a lot of passionate promos from her. AJ Lee had a lot of good promos, but to me, the one that mostly sticks out is just Tessa Blanchard. If anyone hasn't seen a lot of her promos and TNA, definitely go watch them when they have a lot of YouTube stuff. TNA posts all the time of full shows, video package stuff with wrestlers. So they got a lot of Tessa Blanchard stuff, but Tessa Blanchard can really, really talk.
Yeah, I totally agree. Tessa Blanchard was one of those underrated women wrestlers in TNA that really could shoot a promo, and she did it fairly well. And she had a lot of energy behind her promos. And actually, someone I remember is someone you mentioned, AJ Lee. Her 2013 promo on Raw, where she basically went over the Total Divas cast and basically just took a jab at every single woman. Says y'all are interchangeable. Like, y'all are replaceable. Like, I paved the way for what you are doing right now. And basically, like, saying she worked hard to be the face, and, everybody else, like, went on their good looks and sucked up to management. And, like, it was really cool. I was like, oh, crap. She's really passionate about this. I know it's in a script saying do this, but she said it with fierce, like, behind her eyes and her voice. You can tell, like, she meant it, because she wasn't one of those typical divas in that group. This little short girl, Miss Mendez, like, just in a group of tall, blonde, brunette, women, like, just out there. And, like, she really did have to work, and so, I guess we could say CM Punk had his pipe bomb, and that was AJ Lee's pipe bomb. Mm-hmm. I know this is probably going to be not a somber, but kind of a low point moment. But can you guys remember, like, a promo of, like, a final promo of a professional wrestler, where they basically was given like either a retirement speech saying, hey, coming back, or just they said they were done? Like a really good promo saying, this is it. Like, I'm done, or, hey, I'm out of here. Like, could you guys recall one that really stuck out to you, Danny?
Edge in 2011, because this was, and I remember saying this too, I'm a big Edge fan. I cried when he retired in April 2011, and that was due to the neck issues he was having. And that was just so emotional. It brought tears to my eyes. The other one was Eddie after he won the title. He did some sort of promo, and just Eddie's story again was just like such a blow, because no one saw that coming. And I'm going to say probably the return promo that Edge did when he came back at the Royal Rumble 2020. I was actually in Chicago. I was at my sister's, and I had heard, I was watching the Royal Rumble. I remember that I was watching it, and I was just in awe to see Edge, and I had like tears. And my one sister lived there. She was actually in the basement, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "This guy's back." And she's like, "Oh, you're watching wrestling." And she sat and watched with me for a few minutes. But Edge, I would say most definitely, because he just came back from injury. Nobody expected him to retire, and nobody expected him to come back 9 years later. And that's just not only that, but he's such an inspiration because he did have that neck surgery. They told him he won't wrestle again. He's back. He worked hard, and he's here.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of a shock.
Yeah, no, that Edge promo of him relinquishing the title was, that was rough. We thought we would never see him again. And, here he comes back at the Royal Rumble, and it was crazy to see, How about you, Connor? Can you recall a goodbye or like a leaving the company kind of promo that stuck out?
For me, it was AJ Styles. He retired. It was here recently. No, I didn't see it coming. He retired. Him and Cody Rhodes had that last thing. And also Mark Henry. They had a lot of that was a good one. But for real, Ric Flair, when he retired from WWE, when they had that full thing of like the Four Horsemen, the Undertaker, I thought that was really good.
The 2008 one.
Yeah, not
they played Fuel, Leave the Memories Alone. Yeah, that I was thinking that one too.
Yeah, that was when he was supposed to retire. He went to TNA and had a bloodbath with Hogan. But Daniel Bryan comes to mind. I never was a big. I like Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, but he's never been one of my favorite wrestlers, so I didn't really connect to it like other people may have. But that was a tough one to watch either way. Yeah, Ric Flair was the one that really stuck out to me. I really liked the way they did that. If he would have stopped wrestling, that would have been perfect. Shawn Michaels was another good one. The night after WrestleMania 26, I believe it was 26. The night after when he lost against The Undertaker, that was a really, really good one. That was a true last match. I don't count the Saudi Arabia stuff. His last match was against The Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. Yeah, that was a really good, heartfelt promo. So for me, it'd probably be Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, for me, I think there's two that stick out, and I'm going to go most recent first. I'm actually going to go with our boy Cody Rhodes' last promo on AEW Dynamite in January of 2022, months before he came back at WrestleMania 38. It was, his ladder match was coming against Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. And literally it was his farewell speech, and he basically said, I got a letter in the mail, not the one I was expecting or something like that. He talks about paving a way in the indies and, and create an alternative to WWE. And he even mentioned that, I don't know if he said it, but I mean, if we think about it, CM Punk kind of paved the way of breaking the barriers and, doing a revolution, but Cody Rhodes was a revolution and kind of made it happen with AEW. So I think that promo before his match with Sammy Guevara and then him finally debuting at WrestleMania 38, I think that was a shocking promo that a lot of people did not see coming. A lot of people thought he was re-signing because he was one of the EVPs. So, and now I'm probably going to go back a little bit in the early 2000s, 2006. Joey Styles quitting Raw live. It was just, it felt real. I mean, the guy who was the voice of ECW for so long came into WWE. He only worked one match during WrestleMania 22, which was the Foley and Edge match. But then he was replaced because he was replacing Jim Ross, but then Jim Ross came back at WrestleMania anyways. And so, Styles wasn't happy about that. And then he had the moment on TV where Jerry Lawler slapped him. And he comes up and he does that promo of, mentioning how, he has to presented where he's like, I don't like the lingo of what your guys saying. I can't say the word, like I have to say, entertainment and not sports entertainment and not pro wrestling. Like I can't say wrestler, I have to say superstar. And he was like, I hate it. He goes, I hate everything about it. And he goes, and you fans make it worse. And he goes, honestly, you guys buy into it and it's stupid. And I'm not going to do this anymore. I quit. And he just took his tie off and left. For me, I was like, dude, we're not going to see Joey Styles again. Like, I was like, I love that guy. Oh my God. Like the closest thing we've gotten to that was that Mario, I keep forgetting his name, Mario Ranelli.
Mario Ranallo.
Yeah. When he's like, Mamma Mia. Like that's the closest to Joey Styles we've gotten in NXT. Like it's like his oh my God is his Mamma Mia. But Joey Styles was just so fun to watch and listen to.
Like if you think about it, that's the last time we saw him in wrestling. I can't think of any other appearance of him.
Yeah, no, I can't either of seeing Joey Styles anywhere anymore. Like I don't even know the last time I saw him on a pro wrestling show.
Yeah, I completely forgot that he was in WWE.
He was still alive. Like I haven't seen a recent picture of him. He fell off the face of the earth, kind of.
Yeah, no, he did. I want to get to newer age wrestlers. We talk about all the old school wrestlers with the promos and the shoots and all that stuff. But, in this day of age, like, I want you to tell me one wrestler in WWE, no CM Punk. This is like newer wrestlers, Connor, okay? Not CM Punk. But give me a newer wrestler in like a WWE and a new wrestler in AEW that right now is on fire with their promos, and every week gives such a great promo week in and week out. Danny?
Oh, I already have my pick for AEW. Can anybody guess who it is?
MJF?
Yep. Max is just be still my heart. He makes you so believe him. Like and remember the whole thing with the promo is getting you behind that character. I actually had to explain how promos work in another social media group because somebody was, I don't remember, we were talking about something and I'm like, do you even know how pro wrestling works? I've been watching it over 30 years. I just dated myself. But shh, that's classified. And I had to explain to them how promos work. The object of the promo is to get you the audience behind you, is to help you connect with them. And MJF for this generation, I remember hearing the name. I looked him up on YouTube. I was instantly impressed. And that was my love at first sight. He has just got such an intensity about him as a character. And he makes you want to believe that he's this Benz driving rich snob that lives on Long Island, that has servants that give him whatever he wants like this. And that he can buy anyone. That's just kind of who he is character-wise, but then he makes you believe him. And he's just, when he came back, I was like, wait, what? He's back? I watched the segment like 5 times on YouTube. And I was just, and every time I watch it, it gets better. That's just who he is. And to be 27, no, Max is 28 now. To be 28 and to be that good as a wrestler and to do promos. Hey, Jack Perry, take notes. You guys are about the same age. And it's interesting. Max is so over. Jack Perry's still struggling to get over 10 years later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I love MJF stuff. His promo on the one episode of Dynamite where he kind of breaks he tears up because he talks about the story of being bullied growing up Jewish with CM Punk, his feud with CM Punk. And, his about, getting coins thrown at him, says, pick it up, Jew boy. Like that promo for me, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, and he's shedding a tear. And then here comes CM Punk who's like saying, is that true? Like even CM Punk was like, is that all true? Like, you got to talk to me, man. Like if I meant that much to you, you got to tell me. And it was just so brilliant because then, you know, a week or two later, he does the low blow and he's got the shirt of him and Punk with the blood on it. Like the promo was just beautiful. I mean, week in, week out, he's just really good with promos. Connor, how about you? You know, wrestler from AEW or WWE right now that's just killing the promo game.
For me, it's Phil Brooks. No, I'm kidding. For me, it's Chad Gable. That really is this generation's Kurt Angle. Like that's Kurt Angle. That's Charlie Haas. That's Benjamin.
Yeah.
Like that's the entire Team Angle in one. Like he's very, very, very good with his promos, especially with the feud of Sami Zayn. That's put him on. Their feud was the top rated segment of this last week's Raw. Like that was the most viewed segment of the entire show because Chad Gable's promos are just on another level. Like since he's turned heel, he's been able to turn it up a notch and really go at it. I feel like I would like to see him in an AEW just to see how he would react. Like, would his promos be MJF-ish like, or would they just be the same? But he's staying in WWE for right now. But Chad Gable, for me, like, if he wins the Intercontinental title and then gets with the Creed brothers, I'd imagine we'll see even more really, really good promos by him. But for me, Chad Gable was something that really sticks out, and I'm emotionally invested with.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in both companies. I'm also might even throw in TNA right now. I think out of anybody in WWE that's killing it with promos, I gotta agree with Connor. I think Chad Gable, this is some of his best work since debuting on the main roster with Alpha Academy. With oh God, what's his name?
Jason
Otis.
Jordan.
No, it was the Jason Jordan. Thank you.
Yeah.
When him and Jason Jordan got called up from NXT, and you know they got on SmackDown, and you know it's been a long road since then of him developing this character and you know this heel turn, and you know he was getting over with the shoosh at some point, but now he's getting this Kurt Angle-esque heel going, and I think it's brilliant. I think this run with him and you know Sammy is so good. I think I mean again, yeah, I mean if he wins that Intercontinental title, that'll be huge. You know, that would be like Kurt Angle-esque winning the world WWF title and having the Creed brothers next to him winning the tag titles. You know, like that is something that I would love to see on WWE television. Is Chad with the Intercontinental and the Creed brothers with the world tag, you know, and they're on Raw. So it's like, bro, just them beating Awesome Truth with the help of Chad Gable, like that, like right there, like that's the perfect stable right there.
Yeah.
You know, there's your Alpha Academy, you know, and I think that would be really cool. In AEW, I'm kind of split on who I think is right now killing in promos because it's a tie for me between MJF and Swerve. I think both of them are just such good promo. They're good storytellers. I love everything that they're doing with their characters, with their promos. I mean, the promos that Swerve had with Hangman Page in that feud was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, MJF, no matter what feud he's in, he can make it gold with his promos and just being on the mic. So I think for me, those are the tie. And then over in TNA, I have to say that the system, anytime the system comes out, you know, Steve Macklin, Moose, all that, every time they come out and shoot promos, I'm like, that's a stable. Like, and they're on TNA. I said, but that's a stable that can actually be really successful in like a WWE and an AEW because just the way they present themselves and the way they shoot like Steve Macklin on the mic, I freaking love the guy on the mic.
I saw that, and I was able to tune into TNA. Obviously, I've been just busy like looking for a job, and then with moving and everything else. But I did catch the system, and I was really impressed with that promo that they did. And that was
their championship celebration promo.
I
loved it.
With Nick Nemeth and somebody else. I was really really impressed. And again, Nick Nemeth, honestly, is so underrated just as a wrestler and a character. I mean, this is a guy that plays a face and does it well. This is a guy that can play a heel and do it well. And he never got the credit in WWE that he deserved.
I agree. Connor, I mean, what do you think with TNA, like their promos? We don't talk about them a lot with TNA other than, you mentioned out earlier with Tessa, but we don't talk about a lot of the wrestlers over there just doing really good promos.
Me, Steve Macklin's really good. His promo, it was a few months back, but when TNA first came back, him and Nick Nemeth, they had a really good promo. Besides Steve Macklin, Weaver not Ace Austin's actually real good on the mic. He doesn't show it much, but he can. There's a lot of them in TNA. Josh Alexander, he's really good. But yeah, the system is really, really, really good. At first, I wasn't really behind the group because we kind of seen this before, but they're all really good on the mic and how they present themselves and how they carry themselves, and like that's a true heel faction. Yeah, TNA has a lot of good talkers. I'm trying to think of someone else. Jordan Grace is actually good. She's more of a wrestler, but she can talk when she needs to. See, TNA's got a lot of good talkers that's not really recognized. I don't know about Mike Bailey, but Frankie Kazarian's pretty good. Eric Young. TNA's got a lot of good ones. But for me, the one that sticks out the most is Steve Macklin.
Yeah, Steve Macklin and Joe Hendry. You know what? Joe Hendry does great promos. And there's actually like a thing going on Twitter or whatever, a hashtag, like because of this whole TNA invading NXT, they're like, bring Joe Hendry in. Like, we want to see Joe Hendry over in NXT. We think he would be really awesome. And the guy can talk, and the guy is very entertaining. He's funny, and he's very entertaining. So I think someone like him can also thrive in like the WWE umbrella, like because he looks like he could talk and walk in the WWE universe. Like that's just to me.
I want to see LA Knight and Joe Hendry. I don't know why, but I just feel like that would.
Oh, LA Knights.
I just feel like that would go over really, really well. LA Knight. And Joe Hendry.
Yeah, before we start doing it down, let's talk about him. LA Knight, like literally going from his Max Models, whatever, and doing this character to LA Knight. Like, what a big change from his like early days of Eli Drake and TNA. Like, has his promos just gotten better? Is he just almost like that prototype of WWE speaker?
I think he's gotten better.
Yeah, he's kind of like Dolph Ziggler. Like, he's always been good on the mic from when I've known him. TNA, when he was there, he was always good. NWA, he was good. WWE, he was good. And then they tried to change him from what he really was. Then they turned him back to what he can do, and he shot it out of the park. He's always been good on the mic. He just hasn't got recognized for it. Kind of like Dolph Ziggler, who's never given the credit and never given the push that he could have gotten and should have gotten.
Yeah, Danny, your take on that?
Yeah, no. I vaguely remember LA Knight as Eli Drake. The Maximum Male Models gimmick was just kind of okay. I didn't understand it. Like, you had the Dio Madden was part of that, and then the shorter guy who I couldn't remember. I mean, it was a cute gimmick, but when I think of a model gimmick, I think of Rick Martel. That because he had that arrogance, that character when he left Can-Am Connection, God bless Tom Zink's soul, Can-Am Connection, great tag team, Strike Force with Tito Santana, again, another great tag team. But when Tom Zink left over that pay dispute, then they formed Strike Force with Tito Santana. They ended up breaking up. I think it was WrestleMania 5 or 7 or something, somewhere in there. And when Rick Martel did that model gimmick, it just fit him. It fit his overall look. It fit his personality. And when they had LA Knight do a similar thing, I'm thinking, okay, this is what's so great about this. I'm like, people are like, oh, they're not attractive to you. I go, if I think of the model, I go look up and I responded back. I'm like, it's not that. I go, I've been watching longer than you have, and I know what works, and this does not work, and it didn't do anything. The other thing too is that sadly with this promos, a lot of people have been ripping on LA Knight, saying he is a knockoff of Austin. He is a knockoff of The Rock. I think he took elements of The Rock, he took elements of Stone Cold, blended it together, and made his own character out of it.
Yeah, I think
I think is important.
I think from his early career on now, like he has really developed into something.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike Morris actually brought it up because I was actually about to mention it when he was in NWA. He was really good there, and the guy can talk. He's kind of like one of those MJF characters where they understand the history of the business and making it what it is, and bringing back that feel good era of nostalgic pro wrestling. And
Absolutely.
oh yeah, we didn't even mention him. I mean, McIntyre recently with his feud of CM Punk, he's been doing some of the best promo work I've ever seen. Some of his best promo work.
That sarcasm when he's like, "We're in Chicago. You might try to shoot out my kilt." I was dying with that.
Yeah.
That was such a great line. The other person that I don't think gets any credit, that a lot of people again are calling a midget version of The Rock or a Wish version of The Rock, is Starks.
Mm-hmm.
And I be still my heart. I love Starks. At first I was like, who is this John Cena wannabe, whatever. Then he grew on me. And he's a guy that does a face well. He does a better heel because he's just got that moveset and that energy. But that's a guy also that does not get the credit he deserves, and he can talk. Tony Khan, where is he? We need to see him. We don't know where he is. However, the guy can talk. And if WWE picked him up, put him on the main roster. And as long as we're talking about people who recently left AEW to go to WWE, I still can't figure out why Ethan Page has been downgraded to NXT when he should be on the main roster. He's another one.
I think with that, I feel like he needs to be integrated into the WWE culture. And I think NXT is where he's going to get that introduction. Which is weird because Jade was shot straight to the main roster.
Exactly.
But it's weird. I think maybe it's just that's where they want to get eyes on NXT and bringing in a name like Ethan Page. I mean, that little segment this past Tuesday of Cody, Ethan, Sean Spears, and Lexis King, a.k.a. Brian Pillman Jr., all standing there, I was like, oh. I was like, okay, wow, this is a weird image. And people shot that meme of them pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme. And then all you hear Cody says is, sounds like you guys are in a good place. I'm like, oh, are we shooting at our old workplace right now, Cody? I don't know about that.
I seen a meme of the Spider-Man thing, and someone had who's going to tell Starks, who's going to call Starks or something.
Who's going to call Starks? Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like NXT lost a lot of people to the main roster. Lost Dijak, Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin, Dragunov. They lost Valkyria. They lost.
Thanks, Adam.
What do you say?
I wrote Cody, King, Spears, and Page, NXT 611. So I have to look it up and watch it.
That was unexpected. But I think they're trying to get some people in NXT to fill that void. And they're going to the CW pretty soon, so they probably want their own featured faces. But I give it maybe a year, 2 years. Ethan Page will be in. He'll be in WWE. Like, he kind of gives me that Grayson Waller or kind of like Austin Theory vibes. He's going to get over big. I thought that they needed to fill the void in NXT when they lost people. But I'm curious to see what happens in NXT because it's really been – you never know what to expect now. Like, if you want the attitude there, that feels like you got Sexy Red, you got –
Don't bring up Sexy Red. That's just – that is the worst part of in NXT right now.
Thank you.
Like,
Adam, I
it's just a waste. I mean,
I knew there was a reason
like,
why
everybody can watch as kids, adults. Then they bring Sexy Red. I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
Then they got like
Thank you.
Like-
You took the words right out of my mouth, sir.
NXT really feels kind of like the Attitude Era. You got someone like Sexy Red, and you got Lola Vice, and you got Ethan Page, like all these different characters. It's very. I'm curious to see what they do if they bring any more former AEW guys over, how that's going to go. I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah. So real quick before we start winning, I'm going to get to some comments here. Roy, thank you for joining us. What's up? Davis says, I feel like Swerve Ospreay is a no-win deal. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to play that off at Forbidden Door. I don't know if it's going to be a time limit draw or whatnot.
That's what it should be, probably.
Yeah. John Jacobs, Jingleheimer Smith, that my name is my name too. AEW needs to book its tag team division. I agree. I think I think they do. Yes, I agree.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you think they do Swerved versus MJF at All In? They could. I mean, there's a lot of time to build up to something. If they don't put the title on Will Ospreay, but I'm saying something's going to happen at Forbidden Door to where Ospreay gets in that main event at All In. You know, I've been calling it for a while since Swerve won the title. Let's have a 3-way at All In with Swerve, Ospreay, and MJF.
Or better yet, at All Out, because I'll be going like this, doing my Swerve dance, and I'm going to be jumping up and down, screaming for MJF. And fun fact, if you guys remember that episode of Dynamite in Chicago when Punk and MJF were both in the ring for that promo, you could see me on camera, red sign in one hand, pink sign in the other. If you look closely, you can see me.
I'll have to go back and look. John also says Guerrero was always. Oh, I loved Eddie Guerrero's promos. Yes, rest in peace. Love him. Rad Booze, nice. Good. Thank you for joining us. And ECW. Oh, dude, I was a huge ECW mark back in the day, man. I would stay up late on Friday nights and watch ECW television as much as I could. Yep, Ethan agreed. The Axel promo, the Genesis of McGillicuddy, was terrible. Ethan also asked, this is a Connor question. When's the next interview, Connor? Do you have any updates?
It will be Victoria. That I do know. She had some scheduling cons. She booked and she kind of double booked herself. She didn't realize she had another thing booked on top of booking us. So she wanted to commit to who she committed first to. So that's understandable. But she will be our next guest on. I would say around Forbidden Door, maybe a little bit after Forbidden Door, but she'll be on really, really soon. But I'm talking to a lot of other people, so there'll be a lot of more interviews coming up pretty soon.
Right. Miss Tessa Blanchard Wrestling. I do too. Hopefully she comes back soon. Ethan loves Austin Theory right now. I do like Austin Theory. He's always underrated, but I think he's really good. Like I said, you mentioned this. Yep, LA Knight. Mike mentioned McIntyre. Yes. So as we're doing down, I got one more question to you guys before we start, wrapping up. If there's one promo that you can watch on replay over and over just because you love it so much, what would it be? Danny?
Oh, I wonder what Connor's going to say to this one. Let's just say you can take a girl out of Chicago, but you can't take Chicago out of the girl, Phil Brooks, Philip Jack Brooks. I love you. Pipe Bomb 2011. And the Gators, too, but definitely the Pipe Bomb.
Pipe Bomb. Okay. Connor?
Mine's also CM Punk, but not the Pipe Bomb. It's the real Pipe Bomb at All Out 2022 that I can just watch that, like, not just because of the like what's happening in that, but just like how it relates to everyday life. Like, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm freaking hurt, and I work with Evan children.
He's eating Mindy's donuts. The guy's coming
like, that can go with anything in life. Like, and like it's just funny to sit there and just watch that, and
he's eating donuts too on top of that.
It's just very like I can watch that over and over and over. I'd watch that at work over and over and over and over until I digest every little detail that was in that whole thing. For me, that's something I can watch over and over. Like, that's what I do with music. I listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over until I don't want to hear it no more.
Yeah, I think the one promo I can watch over and over again, and even though, I don't like the guy, I probably can watch that promo of Vince talking about how Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart after the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that one just lives rent free in my head. Just because of how it is, so I could probably live with that one. Now, real quick, and thank you for approval, but I want to respond to something in the comments here. This is just for me, but this is what I wanted to respond to. Earlier in the show, someone had mentioned Mr. Hartgrave and said he kind of bashed our stream. Listen, everybody's got different viewpoints, and everybody contributes differently on a podcast. And everybody just sits there and criticizes and doesn't want to join and help make it better. They just want to criticize. My issue with that is let things be what they are. Let him do what he has to do. Let us what we have to do. We are a different kind of maybe stream than he does on his channel. I'm not going to sit here and bash the guy. I wish him the best of luck with his channel stuff. I wish him the best of luck with his views and all his reviews of everything, AEW, WWE, whatever he wants to do. So I answering your question, John, I'm going to let him do that if that's the kind of response he wants to give us. But I will say, we worked with him, and he did give a lot of input and showed up on a lot of shows, and we thank him for that. But sometimes parting ways is probably the easiest thing to do when you're trying to build something for not just yourself, but for your group of streamers like us, like people that are here, like a Danny, a Connor, someone like a me, like Matt on Tuesday night for Canada, and a Jason who joins us here. We are putting something together that we want to do, and we're trying to keep a core group that is committed to it and wants to throw ideas instead of critiquing ideas. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that comment. Again, I wish Mr. Hartgrave nothing but the best of luck with everything. Again, I'm not going to bash the guy and throw hate comments towards him. By all means, let him do what he has to do, and we're going to do what we got to do. And that's the best thing I can respond to with that comment. With that said, we're actually getting down to the wire here of closing up shop on Thursday night, Talking Elite. I want to thank you guys for joining me, Connor, Danny. Always a pleasure having you guys. Always great insights from you guys. Thank you for everybody that commented, everybody that shared their thoughts on everything. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Again, we always have Tuesday nights. We have AEZ Canada with our great host, Matt. Does a great job over there. Wednesday nights, we usually have, live reaction. Like Connor said, we didn't have one last night because he was, tired or whatever it is, but we'll forgive Connor. He's our fearless leader. Every Thursday, you can join me here, Talking Elite. And Saturday, sometimes we do collisions. So there you go. And sometimes we do pay-per-view live reactions. So there you go. And as you heard, what's up, Connor?
I was just said that we'll be back for next Wednesday. We'll be back on our normal Wednesday night Dynamite live reaction.
And like you heard, Connor, our next interview will be Victoria. Until that time, when we get her on, enjoy our other interviews. We've had Eugene on. I think my favorite's been the Pope, and Kevin Von Erich was one of my favorites. So our interviews are posting on our YouTube, so make sure you guys check that out. Other than that, again, we thank you guys for joining us tonight. We love you guys all. And if there's nothing else, as always, good night, you guys. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Night.